We'll do a bunch of stuff. I love that tune.
Hello and welcome to Field Talk. I am the Field, formerly known on the Twitters as Field of Bears, here to remind you that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide, and wish you a happy National Bowtie Day. Hello, Captain Cutler. I'll say that again because I might have slightly messed up. Volume is a bit low, you say? Try turning up your volume. Okay, so from the top, I suppose. Oh my goodness, camera's crooked. Damn it. You know what? I'm going to have to get some help with that later. Anyway, yes. So, happy Bowtie Day. Happy National Bowtie Day, everyone. And speaking of happiness, the citizens of Airstrip 1 get to celebrate their fantastic leadership going out and giving and representing them in this time of crisis for the people of South Africa. Your glorious, wonderful leader has gone overseas to voice her support of those casting off the shackles of their oppressors and reclaiming their ancestral homes that they were occupying and working for centuries before the evil oppressors came along and stole them with no legitimacy that would have been recognized or is recognized by anyone at the time. Oh wait, no, that's not what happened at all. The traitor Theresa May has taken a break in not delivering Brexit to go over to South Africa, and instead of denying the massive theft of land from the minority white farmers in South Africa, instead of doing that, what Theresa May has decided to do is go over there and endorse the policy of massive land theft that will no doubt lead them, that is no doubt another brick in the road to genocide. And just because the victims of this genocide will not have brown skin, I guess that makes it okay. Hello, B West, welcome. Now, yes, and starvation. Because, hey, do you know what happens when you take away land from competent farmers and give it to your political allies instead? Well, your political allies tend to be pretty incompetent at farming, while they were massively competent at kissing your bent over backside. And so what they'll do is not produce as much food. And as I have recently learned, every farm in South Africa feeds feeds something like 7,000 people per farm. So here's the thing. A fallow field is sometimes left fallow on purpose because there's a thing called over-farming. Just because they are immorally appropriating or stealing land that is currently lying fallow does not mean that they are taking land that wasn't being used anyway. They are taking away land that was being left fallow to recover, that was being saved for future use, because sometimes you have to let the land recover the nutrients that had been absorbed by the crops. I mean, look what happened to the Midwest of the United States. Wheat farming destroyed the soil, the soil nutrition of huge swaths of the U.S., and they had to plant peanuts and soybeans and grow only that for decades in order to recover the viability of that as farmland, in order to avoid complete destruction of the soil. And so acting as though political actors will be able to be as competent in the position of a farmer as those who are currently occupying and making use of the land is not only ludicrous, is not only insane, it is insane and stupid, it is insane and moronic. It is the absolute worst possible thing that you can do. And what they're actually doing is they are selecting their scapegoat. They are the kulaks of South Africa. They are the Jews of South Africa. And what's the and what else? What else can? And so yes. And so now that the persecution of the South African Jews, I mean whites, has begun, the head of state of Airstrip 1 got on a fancy private jet and flew down there with some captains of industry to say that she approves of this land reform that will right the centuries of wrong. When here are some interesting points. Land that was conquered in the Boer-Zulu War is recognized as legitimately belonging to the Boer by the current king of the Zulu. A land that was conquered in a war against the Boer and what is that what is the other tribe? The Bantu is recognized as legitimate by many of the royal and chiefs of the various Bantu tribes. but not by others. But the point is the right of conquest had been had been recognized as legitimate by states and state actors for centuries, and at the time when the conquest was ongoing, was considered to be a legitimate way to acquire land. And let me point out again that the Boer had been acquiring their land up to that point via treaty and contract and trade with other tribes who had been in South Africa, that had been in that area of Africa before the Bantu and Zulu came south. Because this might come as a surprise to you, but white people were not the only people who knew how to conquer places. This might be surprising. But the Bantu and the Zulu were pretty proficient at conquering in Africa before the white people came around, and even while they were around. In fact, in what was formerly known as Rhodesia, I don't know what it's called now, because I'm not terribly good at African geography. But in the Rhodesian Wars, British officers were told to treat Zulu spearmen as though they were cavalry, because the Zulu could run so fast that they could close the distance with their spears and be victorious against the British imperial power, His Royal Majesty's army, who had guns, who had repeating rifles at that point, by the way. Repeating rifles. They were winning against the British with spears and numbers because they were that proficient at fighting tactically. Hello. I think you are Cowboy Bear, correct, Ryan Mulag? He might not be. But that is something that used to be admired about the African tribes, how proficient they were at conquering and resisting conquest. And it should be admired because that's something that's admirable in a culture, is that warrior spirit, that warrior vein in it. Having that kind of person celebrated in your culture can be a good thing. I hope your meeting goes well. And so, going back to South Africa, these proficient conquering tribes came in and wiped out the other South African tribes who the Boer had been dealing with beforehand, who they had been dealing with peacefully beforehand. And so instead of and conquered them and looked over at the Boer and their productive farms and thought they could take those. And that's what started the wars. And this is what's been starting wars for centuries. And that isn't to say, though, and that's what was starting wars in Europe for centuries, looking over at other people's land and thinking, that'd be good for us to have. Every culture did this until we figured out how bad it was. And you don't see the Welsh demanding that all of the English leave Wales. You don't see the Catalans demanding that all of the Spaniards leave Catalonia. You don't see that kind of demanding that our tribe has been here the longest and all the other tribes need to leave all over Europe. Why not? Because we figured out that we shouldn't be conquering each other anymore. We've finally figured out that conquering each other is not a good way to run things. We've finally figured this out. And so and now that we've finally figured this out, now we're drudging up sins of the dead and demanding that the living pay for it, which I find to be disgusting. I find that to be disgusting. I'm not demanding that maybe having such thoroughly mixed ancestry, as mine makes it a little bit difficult for me to try and understand holding the living accountable for the dead, because I can't hold the English part of me responsible for the slavery the Irish part of me endured, or the humiliation that the Irish part of me endured, the other Irish part of me endured. Maybe that's why. But and even though now the land theft is being acknowledged, the murders are being denied. And I unfortunately I made the mistake of having fun instead of researching. I'm sorry. But I do have just a couple of pictures to show you. Just two pictures to show you really, really quick. And this will not be the last, this will definitely not be the last conversation that we have around South Africa and what's going on down there. And so what I have to show you here is a map of all of the incidents of arson, murder, theft, and other horrible crimes of the past year in South Africa. Looks a bit clustered, doesn't it? It's just a tiny bit clustered. And just to give you guys a better idea of what's going on, this is what's happening. And these people lived. That is what's going on. Those are the people who lived. And I was listening to an interview with someone in South Africa who runs an anti-genocide organization, and he told a story of a family annihilation on a farm, which are commonly called farm murders. They I think what they did first was they shot the father. And they shot the man like 8 times. And there was a little girl, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, a little girl went over and was in her, I might be mixing up stories, but in her father's blood, standing there begging for the men to stop hurting her dad. And so they shot her in the head and put her in a box. And then they put the mother next to the father and dumped out the body of their daughter on her, shot her in the back of the head. Now, the excuse for these crimes, that they're robberies, that they're simple robberies gone wrong, that these are home invaders who are not expecting to find the homeowners there. They are not, and they're being surprised by the presence of witnesses, and so they're murdering to cover up their crime of theft. But here's the problem. That kind of thing doesn't happen because you're surprised. That is something that you plan to do. That is something that is intentional. And you've got the Pan-African communists going around singing "Kill the Boer songs, shoot them with our guns, chanting the noise of machine guns. We will shoot them with our guns. Kill the Boer." And then you've got Nelson Mandela's party, whose wife famously said that with our necklaces we shall take this land. And necklacing, of course, was the practice of putting a tire soaked in gasoline around the neck of the victim and setting it ablaze, burning their head so that it would take longer for them to die. And this is, of course, the party who is currently in charge of South Africa, which is the less extreme of the two parties. I will look. Good night, the last mountain, and it is a repeat of what happened in Zimbabwe. They kicked white farmers off their land. They killed them if they resisted. They deported them or they imprisoned them. And who got the farms? Who got the farms? I wonder. What was it? Was it Zimbabweans who were good at farming, who had a proven track record, who had studied farming at least? No. It was people who were loyal to Maduro. No, not Maduro. Mugabe. All of these socialists, they blend together in my brain. It was people loyal to Mugabe. And who's going to get the farms in South Africa? Are they going to be South Africans who had gone to study for farming? Are they going to be South Africans who had been working on these farms alongside the Boer farmers? Do you think? No. It's going to be people loyal to the current power. That's what it's going to be. And just like the Jews, just like the kulaks, just like every single group that is scapegoated, it will still be their fault when it fails. It will still be the Boer's fault when inevitably these incompetent new landlords who know nothing about farming and were rewarded for political loyalty, when they inevitably fail to produce enough food to feed the nation, just like they are inevitably failing to deliver enough water to the capital city of South Africa, because apparently water engineering is a profession in which political loyalty is a prerequisite and not competence in the field. And just like it's white people's fault that incompetent incompetent political loyalists are the ones who are failing to deliver water to the capital of South Africa. Just like it's white people's fault there, it will be white people's fault that the political loyalists who are rewarded by ownership of farmlands, it will be their fault that these people fail to perform to the level that the Boer are capable. Because the Boer have a farm culture, and their identity is deeply rooted in the upkeep and prosperity of their family farms, and they pass on the knowledge to their children. And they have scholarship in the area of farming. But do political loyalists have even a single inkling of how to run a farm? No. The thing that they're competent at is kissing rear ends. Yeah, hello, fellow de Bear. Fellow de Se? I don't know what that means. I hope I didn't, Hello, conversion therapy. I'm glad that you're here. I'm afraid I've already said my opinion on South Africa, and I think that just we are discussing. Oh, fellow de Se. I thought it was Spanish. Hello, Baratic. Yes, please do hit the like button. And I would like to know what you guys think about South Africa. I would like to know what you think about Theresa May betraying the people who are being oppressed there by endorsing the wholesale theft of their land. And by promising over $70,000, which is I think 400,000 pounds, or no, 40,000 pounds. I think that's what it was. Oh, Latin. And so we don't know if that's how it's pronounced or not. Okay. Ah, hello, Kodiak Bear. You are my favorite bros. I'm glad you came. Hello, Baravian. I guess I must have missed it. Hello, Hardware Bear. And yeah, what do you guys think about this? Yeah, it is. It is. Well, Spanish or Italian might sound similar, but since those two diverged quite a bit, the linguists think that they diverged quite a bit from Latin, and the grammar structure shows quite a bit of divergence from Latin, so they think that. No, they've actually just legalized taking land without compensation. They had been compensating, is that's the change. So conversion therapy says some unkind things about Theresa May that I think she deserves. Having a hard time getting the video feed because I'm downloading something right now. Oh, that's unfortunate. Usually you have great things to say, Kodiak Bear. Yeah, I know conversion therapy that they would sound very similar in pronunciation, but we also know that we're not sure if how we think it's pronounced is correct because my thing is I speak from the heart about what what is going on in the world, and then I open it up to discussion with my chat. And sometimes the chat stays on topic, and sometimes they do not. But I am very good that you are here, Uru Sledge. That is what my thing is. Yes, Baratic says that making Jeremy Corbyn look viable is the same thing as fornicating with a dog, and I'm not sure he's wrong. I'm very glad you think it sounds fun, Uru Sledge. And yes, I do think he's right. Again, I think he's right. I think making the commie Corbyn look viable is well, actually, I think you'd be better off fornicating with a dog in full public view, live streamed. UKIP. I think that UKIP is a good thing. If I was a British person, I would join UKIP to convert Airstrip 1 back into Teatopia. Hey, Tommy! A different Tommy than the one who I sing about. So, the fall of democratic civilization is when the populace realizes they can vote the treasury into their own pocket, or land, etc. That sounds like a Bastiat quote, Hardware Bear. Oh, your hand, Uru Sledge, yeah. Well, yours looks easy, and it seems to follow the rules of a Romance language, Uru, anyway. So, but I tried to pronounce fellow's name as if it was Spanish, which is apparently wrong. Baratic, I don't think indifference is a correct thing. Well, I guess you can't help feeling indifferent if that's the way you feel. But maybe if we say what's going to happen, Baratic, and then it happens, because if you do X, this is what happens as a result. Maybe we will have the credibility that when they try this again, they'll listen when we say no. Well, cause I don't know if I've been reading you as conversion therapy, not Baravan, though. So yes, Kodak, a bear suggests that you throw me shekels, and I would be very grateful. Well, no, I didn't get it. I'm not very up on Norse mythology. I read a lot of Greek mythology in high school, but I didn't read a lot about the Thor legend. But I think I should. You missed a very, very spicy rant about South Africa and the traitor to her own people, Theresa May. Yes, somebody will get something for sure. Yeah, and please spread this on Twitter whenever you see it. Just like hit retweet, share on the Twitters, because I can't do it anymore because Jack has banned me for reminding everyone that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide. Oh, that's funny, conversion therapy. I like that. Bear van is an idea for when the bears roll in mass. I like that. It's very good. I guess then you must have seen it. I thought that in Marvel Comics, Mjolnir was made from the heart of a dwarf star. Uh, I don't know if I might be mixing that up though. So yeah, you're right. We do need to solve our own problems, Baratic. That is a very good point. But government mandated charity is not charity; it's theft. So I would not support that anyway. Forged in the heart of a dying star. Okay, okay, yeah. I guess I must have been confusing things. It's been a while since I've been in comics. I was actually pretty big into Marvel comics and the Avengers and Spider-Man in high school. I'd read them online with the money that I got because it was cheaper to buy online comics than to go to a store and get them at a store. But then they started getting all soy, and I left, and I haven't wanted to go back. And then I found out that it's even more soy now, so I don't want to go back to comics. I do know about diversity in comics and Ethan Van Sciver, though. I think I'm going to buy Cyberfrog, maybe. Veritech. I must have missed something. Well, look, the Anglosphere, we do have a lot in common with each other. I don't like seeing T-Topia be Airstrip 1. I don't like, yeah, but I just never liked the DC heroes very much. Tommy Lee Bear. I don't. I thought they were all just too flat. I didn't enjoy. I tried out a couple of Superman comics, a couple of Batman comics, and I tried reading Green Lantern, but it wasn't very fun. It was kind of flat, kind of boring, and so I never got into it. So I can't get back in. I can't get back into something. Maybe it's good now, but I could try. I could try looking at DC. I appreciate art, and story art is one of my favorite things, Captain Cutler, because I love stories, and when two of the things that I love collide, sometimes it makes something especially beautiful. It's why I love film, it's why I love animation, and it's why I love comics, and to see those three mediums just so utterly destroyed by the infestation of the soy and the socialist propagandistic nonsense that they can't tell a cohesive story to save their lives in order to shoehorn in their political messages. It hurts me because I just love stories and I'm not seeing any good stories. It's like I even love bad films. I For fun, I like to watch the Mortal Kombat movie, and it is notoriously terrible and it deserves all the crap it gets. But it is just so much fun in its horribleness. My favorite music is bluegrass conversion therapy. I do love bluegrass. And I think that the banjo is severely underappreciated, and it doesn't deserve the ridicule it is on the receiving end, and the mandolin has a very special sound that should be in more music. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a B movie. Not everything has to be not everything has to be a commentary on society. Like sometimes you can just have a story that focuses on being a good story. Pants Feet Fast. Oh yeah, Pants Feet Fat Face Bear says hey. I say hey back, and I'm glad that he's possibly watching. Well, yeah, I do like some folk stuff, but you said favorite. Now, there's very little music that I dislike, but I haven't been listening to music as much lately because I've been busy listening to podcasts. And I think I should be listening to music instead of podcasts at some point. So I think I'll do that for a little while. I'll just have like a day where I listen to only music and no podcasts, and that'll be fun. Oh my gosh, K-pop. I think I think that's popular music from Korea, but I don't speak Korean, so I don't have any interest in songs I don't understand. You can't have it. It's mine now. I already put my balls on it. Oh no. Um. Do you mean? Do I think Asian girls are pretty? Yes, many of them are pretty, but also many of them are ugly. Chris Stapleton. It's like I have the worst time remembering the artist names, so I'm not sure. Like, um, the greatest artist of all time, though he isn't in my favorite genre, is Johnny Cash. Well, I guess I could, but the way that you guys said that I was really into K-pop at the moment, it seemed like it was a dig. So it makes me think that K-pop might be full of cancer. Yeah, I can't listen to any modern country at the moment. It's the same reason I can't listen to any pop stations. It's like it's all the same song. Actually, I have heard of Chris Stapleton, and I think I do like him. So K-pop has English in it, but it's also strange. I'm a little frightened by your description. I do like 21 Pilots. Yes, that is one of the bands I remember. They have a story twisted. Yes, that's correct. Stressed Out is a very good song. I like it a lot. Please do hit the like if you're enjoying this. So apparently, K-pop is distilled soy, then reinfused with soy. Okay, so it is cancer. So if you want to listen to good music, it's actually a little bit difficult because you're kind of trapped in your little genre bubbles by algorithms, and it's hard to discover things these days. Hardware Bear, I don't even know what mumble rap is. Okay, so I don't know what you mean by that, Baratic. I don't. You say that only the boy bands, the girl groups, are pure eye candy. Do you mean that the girl groups are good to look at? Okay, so apparently K-pop is greater than mumble rap. Okay. Well, yeah, you're right. Americana is pretty okay. Most of the songs are good. You just can't listen to anything that the artists say because they're usually retards. Mumble, bumble, bumblebee rap. I don't think that's a thing, Cody Bear. I don't think that's a thing. Well, I don't see very well without the glasses, and my normal glasses met a tragic end. And so I've been wearing these work glasses for a while, and so I can't see very well. And I guess yeah, this is a bit too low. So I'll go up, and you can see my face a little bit better now, I think. So my eyesight is just that terrible. It is really just that terrible. I need to have glasses on at all times. So in order to know what you're saying, let's see. In order for the turtle hat to return, all right, Alex Jones has to be put back on iTunes and YouTube and all of the other things because I have declared war. I have declared war, and so this is my war hat. See how it's an army cover? It's actually camouflage pattern class 2. I'm pretty sure this is an army cover though, which is my brother doesn't like that very much because he's a Marine. Or until alternatives become. You know what? Fine. Turtle Hat comes back when I get 500 followers on Gap. Class 2. So, that's funny. That's funny, Captain Color. Actually, I do. It's just, it's a bit less. See, there we go. We can go to this for now, for a little bit. Second, trying to move this. It's in a pain. All right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. All right, guys. I do have a closer angle. Jarheads. So, oh my God. Yeah. They're coming for the Marine Corps. How dare they? I am furious because my brother goes. My brother signed up to put his life on the line for these idiots, and they want to inject their politics into him risking his life. Are you kidding me? This is nonsense. How dare? Oh, you want to see a beautiful mug? Look at this. Look at this beautiful specimen. And you can buy this, and it would help me out if you did, because I would get around $5 from the sale, which is how you guys know I'm not price gouging you. And I will find you the link. I will find it right quick. Ah, there it is. Buy my stuff. I don't have because I don't have enough subscribers or watch time yet. I have to be a much bigger channel before I can have super chats. So if you want to support me, you can send me a PayPal note at paypal.me/fieldtalk. Veritic, there's very little to do in the Marine Corps. They don't even let you have books. Wow. So an officer chick, fresh out of the Corps, fresh out of the academy in the Corps, and you could beat her in a fight with broken hands. Uru. That's pretty Uru Sledge. That's pretty like wow. She must suck. Ah, yes. Actually, I'm a Christian. I consider myself, just born again. I am currently looking for a new home church. I haven't found one that I think I fit in very well at yet. But I delivered my testimony on my friend's show just the other day, and I I can drop you guys the link if you want in the chat, and you guys can go and check that out. Yeah, convert. Well, don't worry. The first half hour, we did talk a lot about South Africa and the farms, and why taking away farms from competent farmers was a particularly terrible idea. Baratic, I don't know what that means. I don't know what first and see. Oh, I don't know what that means. I must I must have missed what you said earlier, Baratic. I'm very sorry. So it's fine that we see it starts off very structured, but I allow you guys to introduce chaos into the conversation because sometimes we end up discussing things that are very interesting that we're not necessarily planning on discussing. See, here's the problem, fellow. Here's the problem, fellow. We are at 6:54, which means there are 6 minutes left. Yeah. Zimbabwe too, the Boer Wars. Well, the first guy that they're coming, he's saying that he will defend his land. So that guy's gonna die. Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company. Oh, so you were the guy with the binoculars telling the destroyer where to fire. Yes, you are correct. Nimmer is a Marine, and actually, I want to get him to talk to my brother. I praise God that that my brother hasn't seen combat and will not. Your brother-in-law was the guy telling. Okay, but I don't know what you would have gotten hate for. I didn't notice. I'm sorry, Beartick. Your brother-in-law was the binocular guy telling the destroyer where the bad guys suck or were sat. I expect it does suck, and that's why I thank God every day that my little brother, who I love, was not sent into combat beyond where I could do anything to help or protect him. Actually, when he joined, oh, oh yeah, I could. Well, every branch bags on each other. Now, actually, when my brother joined the Marines, I went and I tried to join the Navy because my plan was to become a corpsman and be attached to his company in case he got shot. But they opened up my records and saw that I was super autistic, and they told me nope. Presbyterian Church of America here. Most famous parishioners are Trump and Dan. I don't know who that is. Well, yeah, Keto Bear. I do have a church that I go to semi regularly, and it hasn't been teaching anything that throws up my red flags. However, there was this one church where I went to where the guy thought that that a talent was like a colloquial English talent in the parable of the talents, and he was saying that he didn't know how someone could bury their singing ability or teaching ability in the ground, but well, it must have made sense at the time Jesus was telling the story. The anti-visa of the U.S. Armed Service. They're everywhere you don't want to be. Don't be a Seventh Day well, yeah, I think that Seventh Day Adventists are a little bit strange. You guys are all saying hello to each other, and we've had well, every church I think is hit and miss conversion therapy. I think you kind of have to just figure out where is a good fit with you. Awesome sauce. Thank you for subscribing, guys. I am very glad. Oh, news. Now, if you look in the corner above me to your above me to right there, you will see a purple chicken hat. And when I get 200 subscribers on YouTube, that chicken hat will go on top of my head for an entire hour. And it may be a silly stream or it may be a serious stream. I don't know. But the stream directly after I go over 200 subscribers, that thing goes on my head as a reward for your hard work helping people find this show, which they are sure to enjoy. Actually, I think Keto Bear used to be a Jehovah's Witness, if I'm correct. Keto Bear, I will drop this link in the description again, and you can listen to my testimony of conversion to Christianity from Mormonism. Now, one thing that you should know about Mormonism is the South Park episode. Totally accurate. That is everything that they make fun of is 100% true. I don't know what a Rocky Mountain Jew is. All right. That's the thing that always kind of threw me, Baratic. I have no idea. You'd have to ask one of them. Oh, apparently Rocky Mountain Jew equals Mormon. Except, yeah, yes, Robot Bear. That episode, yes, it is 100% accurate. So, now, whenever any state starts talking about appropriating land, starts talking about land reform, that is code for land theft. And it is one of the bricks in the road to genocide. And that is an evil which you cannot stay silent in the face of. And so when I see it in the world, I have to stand up and be counted as among those who give a full-throated defense to the boer. And property tax is theft. All taxation is theft. I will stand up and be counted. Because I know where this leads. I've read history, and this is a story we've all heard before. We've heard this story about Soviet Union, about Nazi Germany, and about Venezuela, and about Zimbabwe, and every other time socialism has ever been tried in the history of the world ever. And so this has been Field Talk. If you enjoyed the stream, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you would like to come back, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when I do go live again tomorrow. The links to the social media places are in the description. I have been permanently banned off of Twitter, so go ahead and follow me on Gab. And if you would like to sow the field, please go to paypal.me/fieldtalk. and throw me a few shekels. You can also go to redbubble.com/people/refield in order to buy some nice products with my logo or poems on it. Now, everyone have a great night, and never forget that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide.